You're watching Behind the Screens. Grab some popcorn, fill up a drink, and take a seat. Our feature presentation is about to begin. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you may be listening. Welcome back to another brand new episode of Behind the Screens. I'm Chris Chason, and joined as always is my co-host and best friend, Mike Lakewood. Mike, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing very well today, Chris, and I'm so happy to be back for this new episode of Behind the Screens to celebrate the 2021 holiday season.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And we've got a wonderful tribute for you guys today because, well, even though the semester's over, we still want to give you some little behind-the-screens episodes over the Christmas break before we head back. Isn't that right?
Exactly. We're going to keep continuing the trend as much as possible, as much as it doesn't convolute with our personal lives, our work schedules, our personal time enjoying the snow and whatnot, and time with our friends and family. We're still going to keep giving you guys the facts, the rundowns on all things superhero films and television shows, at least for right now.
Yeah, and today's film is interesting.
We'll be going into the third film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, released in 2010, Jon Favreau's Iron Man 2.
This film has its ups and its downs. People either say they like it, people say they don't, people say it's a far cry from the first Iron Man, some people say it's one of the worst MCU movies of all time. But how do we stand on it?
Yep.
Well, let's find out.
You guys will just have to sit back and listen to this film right here. The film was directed by Jon Favreau, the same man who directed the first film, who also is playing the character Happy Hogan in the MCU and has been doing so for nearly 15 years now.
Yeah, and he always does a good job.
Yep. The film was written by Justin Theroux. I'm not sure if I
Justin Theroux.
Justin Theroux. Like, I've seen him in a bunch of movies, including, On the Basis of Sex, The Lady and the Tramp remake, The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
I've also seen him in Charlie's Angels 2. I've not seen him in American Psycho, but I hear it's very good. He was the one who solely wrote this movie, but it was also very much public notice that they rushed this movie into production.
That is true. This movie was originally meant to release in 2011, but because of all the rush and build up to the Avengers, they were basically on the crunch time. And crunch does not always equal a good product sometimes. I mean, look at Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex.
Indeed, my friends. Now is time for one of our favorite moments of this segment, where we discuss the plot of Iron Man 2 before going back to the reception, the cast of characters, all stuff that we've done in previous episodes. So sit back, relax, and here is the plot of 2010's Iron Man 2.
Let's get this over with.
In Russia, the media covers Tony Stark's disclosure of his identity as Iron Man from the end of the first film of the MCU, 2008's Iron Man. Ivan Vanko, whose father, Anton Vanko, a former Stark Industries employee, has just died, sees this and begins building a miniature arc reactor similar to Stark's. 6 months later, Stark is a superstar and uses his Iron Man suit for peaceful means, resisting government pressure to sell his designs. To continue the legacy of his father, Howard, he reinstitutes the Stark Expo in New York's Flushing Meadows Corona Park. Oh, interesting.
Huh.
Later, Stark learns that the Palladium... Is that how you say it? Palladium?
I think that's how you say it, yeah.
Palladium core in the arc reactor that keeps him alive and powers the armor is slowly poisoning him to death.
Oh, great.
And he cannot find a suitable substitute to power the device. Growing increasingly reckless and despondent about his imposing death, and choosing not to tell anybody about his condition, Stark appoints his personal assistant, Pepper Potts, as CEO of Stark Industries, and hires Stark's employee, Natalie Rushman, to replace her as his personal secretary. Natalie Rushman, of course, being played by Scarlett Johansson.
You'll see in a bit.
What a very interesting thing to have Scarlett Johansson in a movie like this.
I mean, she's a popular actress. But...
Very popular indeed. I loved her in the SpongeBob movie, very much.
Oh yeah, that's right, she was in that. And she was one of the younger kids in Home Alone 3.
That is very true. Stark competes in the Monaco Historic Grand Prix, where he is attacked in the middle of the race by Vanko, who is wielding electrified whips. Yes, seriously. Stark dons his armor and defeats Vanko, but the suit is severely damaged. Vanko explains that his intention was to prove to the world that Iron Man is not invincible. Impressed by Vanko's performance, Stark's rival Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell,
Oh my
who
God.
I've seen this dude in just as many amazing movies as I've seen Justin Throx. Right?
Justin Thoreau.
Justin Thoreau, and I've seen him pull off some incredible performances, my friends. I'll be sure to get back to that when we talk about the characters, though. Justin Hammer fakes Vanko's death while breaking him out of prison and asks him to build a line of armored suits to upstage Stark. During what he believes is his final birthday party, Stark gets drunk while wearing the Iron Man suit. Disgusted, Stark's best friend, U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes, now played by Don Cheadle instead of, what was the other guy?
Terrence Howard.
Terrence
We'll go
Terrence
into
Howard.
that.
Don Stark's prototype armor that we saw at the end of Iron Man 1 and tries to restrain him. The fight ends in a stalemate, and Rhodes confiscates the armor for the Air Force military. Oh boy. And suddenly, out of the blue, while Tony is sitting on top of a giant donut, eating donuts inside the donut hole, I said donut a lot there, but that's not even the weirdest part.
Hold on. If I had a nickel for every time you said donut, I'd have 3 nickels. Which
Yeah.
isn't a lot, but it's amazing you said that 3 times in a row.
Exactly. Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., who we saw during the post-credit scene of Iron Man 1,
About time he showed back up.
appears out of nowhere looking up at Tony looking like a complete despondent medical patient and says possibly one of the greatest superhero movie lines of all time. I advise you to exit the donut. It's like, yo.
One of the best parts of this movie.
Definitely. Nick Fury approaches Stark, revealing that Natalie Rushman is actually Agent Natasha Romanoff, a.k.a. the Black Widow.
Oh, yeah.
And that Howard Stark was a founder of S.H.I.E.L.D. who Fury knew personally for many years. Fury explains that Vanko's father and Stark invented the arc reactor together, but when Anton tried to sell it, Stark had him deported back to the USSR. The Soviets sent Anton to the Gulag as a result. Fury gives Stark some of his father's old material. Tony discovers a hidden message in the diorama of the 1974 Stark Expo. It proves to be a diagram of the atomic structure of a new element. With the aid of his AI, Jarvis, once again played by Paul Bettany, Stark synthesizes it. When he learns that Vanko is in fact still alive, he places the new element in his new arc reactor and ends his Paladinium dependency of it, slowly regaining his strength and will to live back again.
Thank God.
At the current expo, Hammer unveils Vanko's armored drones, led by Rhodes in a heavily weaponized version of the prototype Iron Man armor. Stark has then arrives to warn Rhodes, but Vanko takes remote control of all of the drones and Rhodes' armor and attacks Tony. Justin Hammer soon gets arrested for breaking Vanko out of prison, while Romanoff and Stark's bodyguard Happy Hogan go after Vanko at Hammer's factory. Vanko escapes, but Romanoff returns control of Rhodes' armor to him. Together, Stark and Rhodes defeat Vanko and his drones, but Vanko commits suicide by blowing up his suit, along with the defeated drones.
Oh, great.
At a debriefing, Fury informs Stark that because of his difficult personality, S.H.I.E.L.D. intends to use him only as a consultant. Stark and Rhodes receive medals from the White House for their heroism against Vanko and Hammer. The credits roll, but after the credits are done, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Phil Coulson reports that the discovery of a large hammer at the bottom of a crater in a desert in New Mexico. Ain't that something, isn't it?
That's a mystery. But that's for next time.
So that was the entire plot of Iron Man 2, and it's definitely a difficult film to talk about because you can see the seeds of a decently good story in here. It's just that everybody makes really dumb decisions because of the place they're in right now.
At least unlike Dawn of Justice, this movie is not confusing and complicated to go through.
No, it's very straightforward. It's just that the story isn't very good.
That is true, yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's just not great.
Right,
you know?
yeah. I mean, if this movie was given like a rewrite, then if it wasn't crunched for time, I feel like this movie would have been a little bit better.
Following the critical and commercial success of Iron Man 1 in May 2008, Marvel Studios announced and immediately set work on making a sequel. The following year, Justin was hired to write the script and Favreau returned to direct. Downey, Paltrow, and Jackson were set to reprise their roles from Iron Man as Pepper, Tony, and Nick Fury, while Don Cheadle was brought in to replace Terrence Howard after contract negotiations fell through.
Yeah, that story is fun to talk about.
Yep, as we spoke briefly of in the Iron Man 1 review. So, needless to say, Don Cheadle will be playing James Rhodes for the remainder of the MCU.
Right.
In the early months of 2009, let me take a look at the dude who Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke plays Vanko.
That's right.
He signs on. Sam Rockwell and Scarlett Johansson filled out the supporting cast. Filming took place between April and July of 2009. Unlike its predecessor, which makes digital and practical effects, this season focused entirely on CGI animated suits, which of course I'm not really fond of, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we're suckers for practical effects when it's done right. I mean, we don't mind a little bit of CGI, but if it's not dominating the movie, then...
Exactly. The film received mixed reviews from all critics and all fans, who praised the performances of the actors in most of the action scenes, but deemed it as a much inferior film to the near magnum opus that, of course, Iron Man 1 was.
Yeah, I mean, even I don't rank Iron Man 1 as high on my MCU list. I still found it a way better than Iron Man 2.
Yep, the film was made on a whopping $185 million budget.
I bet you half of that went to the CGI.
Most definitely. Only making back $624 at the box office, meaning that it made approximately about a three and a third times its money back.
That's not bad.
So it's not too awful enough. I mean, heck, this movie was the 7th most financially successful film of 2010. So
what other movies in 2010 were there that were successful?
Let me see about this. We have How to Train Your Dragon.
That's pretty obvious.
Despicable Me.
Of course.
Tangled.
Oh yeah.
Shrek 4.
Oh yeah.
Inception. Alice in Wonderland, the remake, of course.
We'll get into that.
And Toy Story 3 was considered the best film of 2010.
Well, considering that success, it makes sense. But
now let us go into the cast of characters. We will only briefly cover the characters that have appeared in previous films, such as Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk,
right,
while focusing more so on the new actors.
Yeah.
We of course have Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Tony Stark, and he gives his 100%. Got his whole shtick down at this point.
Yeah, he's still got it.
He's cocky, he's powerful, and he knows it. He's more intelligent than everybody else in the room, and he shows it. The problem is that stubbornness, it really starts to grind to a halt in this movie.
A little bit.
He finds out he's dying from the same thing that's keeping him alive, and like a dumbass, doesn't tell anybody. Why? Like, the fact of the matter is, I mean, I get it that he's a very closed-off person, and he's not really good at conversing with people.
Wait. Are you sure we're talking about Tony Stark? Because that sounds like Batman.
I mean, it's like, come on, Tony's basically Batman for the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, because let's see here. Playboy billionaire, lost his parents when he was young. Has a high-tech suit, millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. He now struggles with keeping his technology out of the reach of the U.S. government. Robert Downey Jr. said, it's kind of heroic, but really kind of on his own behalf. So I think there's probably a bit of an imposter complex, and no sooner has he said, I am Iron Man, than now he's really wondering what that means. If you have all this cushion like he does, and the public is on your side, you have immense wealth and power. I think he's way too insulated to be okay.
Wait, hold on. Imposter complex? That's a thing?
Basically, it's like, he says that I am Iron Man, but does he really believe it? Like, truth be told, I think...
You think he's insecure?
Yeah, because I feel like he feels like he rushed into the hero role way too soon.
Now that I think about it, that you bring up a good point. Like, he got out of that cave by picking that suit, and he thought, you know what? Why not? I'll do it again and make it better and better and better. And he made just a ton more Iron Man suits after that.
Exactly. He just kept going and going and going. He kept the lie as big as possible. He made himself larger than life until he realized, I'm human. I could die at any second, and that thought terrifies me. The thought of leaving this world without doing anything awesome sucks. Really bad.
That explains a lot for future movies.
It really frickin' does. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this movie does nothing to help itself. It helps every other story afterwards.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
that kind of goes for some of the other characters as well.
Robert Downey Jr. put on 20 pounds to come back as this role. Because
muscle or fat?
Muscle.
Okay,
basically,
thank God.
He put on 20 more pounds of muscle. It's like, dang, this man is good.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, considering that he's going to be in a suit that's mostly CGI...
Yeah, I mean, like, I will say Tony was kind of okay in this movie. He
kept
his shtick going,
but I have to admit, despite how the movie is structured, some of the other characters kind of stole Tony's spotlight.
Yeah, I kind of feel as so. So I will definitely give Robert Downey the thumbs up, even though the movie was not really doing him any favors, and he kind of had to
Yeah,
carry a lot
okay,
of
yeah,
it,
basically, solid thumbs up for the first Iron Man. Then Iron Man 2 comes along, and
Kinda
my thumb is tilted off axis, by about
we
like 12
gotta,
degrees.
We gotta alter the dials a little bit.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow is back as Pepper Potts, and she continues to be a good supporting female character. For
Yeah,
Tony.
it's just I feel like she's a little out there though when you think about it. Like she's just got put on with the responsibility. Like it's a random day, and Tony tells her, "Hey, you're the new CEO of Stark Industries." What are you talking about,
bro? That is really unprofessional. You just give your closest friend, your possible girlfriend, and your business partner full control of your company because you're dying from a disease nobody knows you have. And wow, this story is stupid.
Yeah, not to mention she was scared for Tony's life at the Monaco Grand Prix because literally Vanko swipes the car, it crashes, and Tony somehow survives that with minimal injuries. And then he gets a suitcase, but to be fair though, a suitcase that turns into an Iron Man suit, that is pretty badass. I want one of those.
Why wasn't that never seen again? You probably know why, because he kept improving the design.
Yeah, and then eventually, because eventually just went from hard suits to nanotech.
Yep, she said, when we started Iron Man 2, Pepper and Tony are very much in the same vibe. As the movie progresses, Pepper is given more responsibility and she's promoted, and it's nice to see her sort of grow up in that way. I think it really suits her. The job fits her very well. Paltrow expressed excitement about working with Scarlett Johansson, especially loving her scenes with her above all else in the movie. So I was like, that's actually really cool. I really did like the anchor that she provides. I've always seen Pepper as the anchor to the ground that keeps Tony from flying away into space.
I could see that. It's pretty obvious. Like, not just, this movie, not so much. Like, the first movie, yes. Mm-hmm. And also, it kind of goes for Iron Man 3 as well.
Indeed,
and
yes.
kind of and also the other two, like some of the Avengers movies, because she appears in those. So
Very
it makes
much
sense.
So. Next up, we have Don Cheadle coming back to play Rhodey, a.k.a. War Machine.
Yeah,
now,
so
this is definitely a big thing for me because I'm going to be putting it out here, though. The longer we get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the more I will go in depth about the pros and cons of every character. More pros for some and more cons than some.
Because the MCU basically is like a giant television series where characters have arcs, not just in one movie, like in a movie they debut in, but as the series goes on, if they show up in more movies.
Yep.
War Machine is kind of the same thing here.
Exactly. Rhodey is an officer in the U.S. Air Force and Tony's best friend who later operates the War Machine armor. Let me tell you, folks, I freaking love the War Machine armor.
Yeah, the War Machine armor is like one of the best Iron Man armors out there. This thing is literally built for destruction.
Because if there's like one thing that I've always appreciated ever since I was a kid is Gatling guns. Like Gatling guns on your shoulder, on your hands, anywhere in the thing that you're controlling is always a plus for me. The downside is Rhodey isn't really anything that special of a character to me. He basically, Don Cheadle replaces the role that Terrence Howard has, being a much more personal, anchor to Tony. He's basically the other thing, keeping his other arm down to the ground.
I get that. And I have seen people who said that even though they do like Don Cheadle, they prefer that Terrence Howard stayed as Rhodey.
Yes.
I could see that, but I don't mind. I still think Don Cheadle does the role of Rhodey just fine.
No, he does.
And when he's in the War Machine armor, that's when he really excels. And especially like in the middle of the movie when Tony's having that party and Rhodey dons the suit, dons the Mark II for the first time. And then he sorts of authority. He's like, "Get out!" And I'm like, "Wow." He's
really
like,
nuts,
I know he's an Air Force pilot, but I don't think they're supposed to be advanced cops.
No.
But then but the fight that he and Tony have after the party, fight
that
was honestly
great.
so sick.
I will say, it's like, okay, now we're getting to the good fight scenes of the movie. This is the kind of stuff we want to see, even though the build up to the fight was kind of not great.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rhodey's looking. I know it's just a suit fight after, like, it's basically it's basically like a guy keeping his drunk friend from hurting himself, except they're in metal suits that could hurt them already.
I've always seen Rhodey as the very responsible friend to Tony's lustful bachelor act. He always follows the rules. He always does what he's told. And this movie was kind of the very start to him seeing that maybe the U.S. government doesn't have the people's best interest in mind.
That is understandable, especially like at the beginning of the movie when Tony's at that Senate hearing and Rhodey is there.
Yeah.
He's supporting him and like also telling the government like your attempts at Iron Man suits they're not as good as what he's doing.
Oh, really?
So,
And then, of course, I love how Tony just destroys Justin Hammer's performance without even trying. He just snapped his fingers and everything fell his way. That is Iron Man to me.
Yeah.
Apparently, Don Cheadle only had a few hours to accept the role as Rhodey when he was contacted by Paramount. He was told you either accept the proposal in this amount of time or we go on to somebody else. And of course he didn't know anything about the storyline of James Rhodes for this movie or the previous one, but he still said yes. No matter what, he still said yes.
That sounds like a bad sign.
According to this, he only had a few hours. He commented that he is a massive fan of comic books, but had not previously participated in comic book themed stories and films due to the scarcity of black superheroes in the medium at that time. And of course, he wanted to make the wave of change for that, and you know what? He did it.
Yeah, because War Machine is honestly one of the best black superheroes out there.
I'll definitely be saying this though, even though I'm not a big supporter of Don Cheadle and or Rhodey as a whole outside of the armor, I cannot deny that without him, there probably not be as many black live action superheroes these days.
That is true. Yeah.
Participate in the scarcity. Don Cheadle said he thought Iron Man was a robot before the film came out. He didn't even know that there was a man inside the suit. Bruh, for real?
What?
Okay. On how he approached the character, Cheadle said, I go, what's the common denominator here? And the common denominator was really his friendship with Tony. And that's what we really tried to track in this one. How is their friendship impacted once Tony comes out and owns, I am Iron Man? What does it mean to be best friends with Iron Man?
A lot.
And I really do think that he does a very good job of coming to terms with that.
Yeah.
He does his best to keep Tony in check, even though it all could have been fixed if Tony opened his damn mouth about he was dying.
I know.
We could have fixed the problem.
To be fair though, we wouldn't have that awesome fight scene at the end of the movie where Tony and Rhodey are fully suited up and they take on the Hammer drones.
I will say this. Don Cheadle's War Machine armor was 50 pounds of sheer metal that he had to walk in almost every day on
50
set.
pounds?
Carrying on.
My God.
And that he could not touch his face while he was wearing it. He had to spend like so many near full days without touching his face at all. Otherwise, they'd have to restart the whole process over again. Don Cheadle signed on for a 6-movie deal beginning with this film.
And 6-movie deal. Let me see that match checks out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that counts out.
Yeah, it definitely counts out. So I will definitely say Don Cheadle was a very good replacement for James Rhodes. Even though I don't have very strong opinions on it, I do understand why he is a necessary character for this story. He fills in the role as male anchor to Tony as Pepper is the female anchor.
Absolutely.
So I'll definitely give more thoughts on Don Cheadle Rhodey when we get through the rest of the movies. Next up is Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff.
Well, for her debut, sorry she had to debut in such a not so good movie.
I mean, I really wouldn't say that she was the issue with
No.
it.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. She's good.
Because let me tell you, she was very gorgeous in this. Like, problem is maybe they focus too much on making her good looking, even though she's like, she's a spy. She has to derail our attention away from what's
and besides,
going
during
on.
the production of this movie, that's when Disney bought Marvel. So
they hadn't exactly ironed out the plans yet.
But also, like, I feel like for the early MCU, Romanoff was just there kind of for sex appeal.
I know. It's so because literally, like, one of the freaking lines in the movie is that she is a sexual assault lawsuit waiting to happen. And freaking Pepper says that of all people. It's like, woman, I want to love you, but sometimes you just say the dumbest shit.
What is that?
I mean, yes, like, don't tell the person you are somewhat in love with. Like, I know why she said this. Says, don't touch her ass, we're gonna get sued. Instead, touch my ass.
Whoa!
God.
Really? You think of that?
Some of the dang politics in this, movie.
That's true.
She's mostly there to look fine until it's revealed she's Black Widow. It's
but when she's the spy, that's also really good. Like, the whole scene where, like, she and Happy head to Hammer's factory, and then she beats up those guys. That was honestly really awesome to see.
The beginning of the pose. Let me tell you.
That pose.
The spider pose. That's exactly what I'd be doing.
She's named after a spider. And her powers and abilities are amazing, because Black Widow is considered one of the best fighters in Marvel, and she proves that.
I honestly knew nothing about Black Widow before starting the MCU.
Me too, honestly.
I honestly didn't know she existed. I figured, okay, so she's like a female spy or something like that. I mean, yeah, obviously, like, I've done a bit more of my research over the years.
Oh, yeah,
and
me
I've
too.
gotten to all these things done. According to this, she is an undercover spy for S.H.I.E.L.D. posing as Stark's new secretary. Johansson dyed her hair red before she landed the part, hoping that it would help convince Jon Favreau that she was right for the role. She made herself look more like the comic character to get noticed. That is so funny.
I guess, but don't you think that's a little weird?
I mean, it's so weird because you could see the lengths that she was going to like get this role. She like. I'm not going to say she's not perfect because, mind you, before she landed this role, she was in The Spirit, which honestly would not be the best candidate for continuing going in comic book projects because I wouldn't even consider that film a comic book movie. It's just an old man trying to pervert an excellent image. But this movie, it's a bit better than that, even though it's still not the best image. Thankfully, she stuck around as long as she did.
Oh, yeah, but with then we got that whole spiel.
On why she chose the role, Johansson said, "The Black Widow character resonated with me. She is a superhero, but she's also human. She's small, but she's strong. She is dark and has faced death so many times that she has a deep perspective on the value of life. It's hard not to admire her," which is so dang true because I feel even though Scarlett Johansson was winning role after role, she wasn't really memorable.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people knew who she was, but they weren't saying she was S-class yet. She was saying that she was a rising star. She was getting there, but she wasn't there yet.
Yeah, she's like, you could say, like, B tier,
yeah,
maybe?
Like high C, low B. This movie skyrocketed her up to the high B.
Honestly, most of the MCU, when you think about it.
And that's exactly what it is. Like, I don't want her to be remembered as the woman who played Black Widow. I want her to be remembered as the woman who helped show people that women superheroes can work, and it helped to wave that. Like, this movie helped show that black superheroes and women superheroes can work in modern times very
Absolutely.
well. I'll be saying it right there. She stated that she had a bit of a freak-out moment when she saw that the cat suit and worked closely with the stunt team to learn how to fight in it in order to sell it because she was thinking, oh God, she was not going to be able to fight in the suit they gave her.
Yeah, she's thinking to herself, what did Michelle Pfeiffer have to go through with this
Literally
kind of stuff?
so. I mean, of course now, the film has been out for more than 11 years at this point,
Yeah.
and in a recent interview when talking about her solo film, which came out as of the time of this recording several months ago, Johansson felt that she had been overly sexualized in the character in Iron Man 2 when she was first introduced, specifically referring to the dialogue describing her as a piece of meat, something like a possession to be owned. And she's not wrong.
No, she isn't.
She's exactly wrong. She was presented originally before she was revealed as the superhero as an item to be touched, as something for someone to have on his desk.
She's able to hold herself together because you remember in the boxing ring she whooped Happy. I'm like, wow, she's good.
Yep. Thinking that maybe at the time she thought that it was a compliment. But of course, it's very aged much.
Yeah,
and it's
not
definitely,
yeah.
She was grateful to have been a part of the movie, while also evolving along with the character to present more of a positive image for Black Widow over the time span of 11 years. So I'm really glad that she was able to take the good with the bad. And let me tell you, she's faced a lot of bad things.
Oh yeah.
So I'd definitely say Natasha Romanoff, even though she definitely helped this movie with what little positives it had, I'll definitely give her the thumbs up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next is Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I will say it right now. This guy is one of the worst villains of the MCU.
Well, their early MCU villains, their main problem was the villains. Justin Hammer is no exception. Now, to be fair though, Justin Hammer in the comics was always a jerk and a rival to Stark. But at least he had class. This Justin Hammer, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, this guy is just such a I swear to God, like, this guy whines and complains about everything. Tony Stark stole my idea. Where? God,
dude,
like,
you stole his idea first,
bruh,
dummy.
This dude has a more punchable face than Logan Paul. I swear to
What?
freaking
Whoa,
God.
whoa,
I wanna
really?
punch this dude right in the nose. Like, that's exactly
Yeah,
what it's like.
I
I'm
know.
gonna take out my anger on this guy for real. Like, I love Sam Rockwell. I will pull up the list of movies I've seen this dude in
I'm
right
sure
now.
he's done good movies,
I've
right?
seen him in Moon, Seven Psychopaths, Richard Jewell. He was fantastic in that. The Green Mile, Galaxy Quest, Charlie's Angels 1, Cowboys and Aliens. Well, okay, that's actually a bad example.
Yeah, but the other ones, like The Green Mile, that's a good one.
Yep. Vice, Jojo Rabbit, which he co-starred with Scarlett Johansson in that 2 years ago.
How about that?
3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Loved all of those movies. hate his performance in this. I mean, he comes off so utterly douchey.
He's basically the ultimate antithesis to Tony.
Yeah.
He wants he has the fame as much as Tony, but he wants it. He craves it. He loves it.
You want to know what kind of helps fuel that I just read from this page right here? Sam Rockwell was actually considered for the role of Tony Stark in the first film.
What?
And he accepted the role of Hammer without even reading the frickin' script first. Like,
dude, what are you thinking?
He was so salty about losing the role to Robert Downey Jr. He was desperate to get into a superhero movie, no matter how little he understood what was actually happening.
What?
Jesus.
That's, oof.
Okay, he had never heard of the character before he was contacted about the part, and was unaware that Hammer was an old Englishman in the comics, not a young weapons manufacturer.
That is true.
So basically, they modernized the role for audiences, which has worked in many future films, as we see in modern day.
Not to mention, Justin Hammer has appeared as, a more younger man in more modern Marvel cartoons. Like, the modern Avengers Assemble cartoon, he's just basically a younger man, and is basically a rival to Tony, just like the movies. But at least there, he was not as whiny.
Exactly.
He was, but not as much as this movie. I feel like Marvel learned from Iron Man 2 and wanted to dwindle down Hammer a little bit, but
yeah, you could definitely say so. Sam Rockwell said that he is that he worked with Jon Favreau before. He worked with Jonathan Theroux.
Justin Theroux.
Justin Theroux. I will never get that name.
No, you will not.
Names with X's always mess me up.
It is weird.
Theroux, right?
Yep.
Got it. He wrote the script. He is an old friend of his. They sort of cooked up the idea and pitched it to Kevin Feige together. What they were maybe going to do one villain like they did with Jeff Bridges, but then they decided to split the villains, and really, Mickey Rourke is the main villain, but I came in to be his aide. No, you were just there to annoy him. This thing, Mickey Rourke wasn't even that great of a villain to begin with.
Honestly, again, the early MCU, one of the problems that plagued it was the villains.
Yeah.
I mean, Loki was the exception, but that's a whole other thing.
Obadiah Stane also was the exception. I liked him.
He was okay. He was okay at best.
Rockwell described his character as a plucky comic relief character that was written by an edgy 14-year-old. So it's that's basically what he's supposed to be funny, but he's so whiny and edgy. I hate every second he's on screen.
Really?
I hate every single
funny.
moment. Okay, so believe it or not, I did look back on it. When we see him be finally defeated in the end, he gets his just desserts. He's dragged away from the console from Natalie after he says something very sexist to Black Widow.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then he says that he gets his just desserts and he's carted off to jail. I have not seen the All Hail the King one shot.
I have. He appears at the end of that. It's a whole... We'll talk more about All Hail the King when we talk about Iron Man 3, because it ties into that.
I will say as though I was completely unaware that he was having a homosexual relationship with an inmate in
That is not true.
Well, I mean, but it says here on the wiki it is.
The wiki, it's always changing. It's hint set. It's not actually legit.
I kind of have to take that to heart, because if he really is one of the first LGBT characters of... Well, I mean, technically, though, you have to consider the ramifications of prison dating. Because is it really dating? Because, I've seen prison dating in other mediums I watch, and I don't know if it's actually real or not.
What is it? What is that like exactly?
I mean, it's basically when a bigger man makes a little man his you know?
Oh,
basically, that's what I mean to say.
Yeah. I don't know.
Really don't, I haven't seen it myself.
I think that's what's happening. But look, there is no proof yet. But if it's somehow there's something down the line that says Hammer is actually gay, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can support that.
We can move on to the next villain. We can move on to Mickey Rourke. I'll give him the middle thumb. He was very annoying, unfunny, and unnecessary for this movie. But of course, I have to praise Sam Rockwell for being at least in a superhero.
Yeah, he tried to phone it in. I'm surprised you didn't give him the thumbs down.
No, I'll give him the thumbs. I mean, it's the middle thumb. It's I don't hate him that much. He has his good moments,
but you don't find him great.
Yeah. Then of course we have Mickey Rourke as Ivan Vanko / Whiplash.
Now, Whiplash is an interesting villain in
Marvel. Because he's kind of okay. So technically, he's not two villains, even though he kind of is. So Mickey Rourke plays the Russian physicist and ex-convict who builds a pair of arc reactor-based electric whips to exact his revenge on Tony Stark for what his father did to his dad years ago.
Exactly.
The character is a combination of Whiplash and the Crimson Dynamo.
Right, because Ivan Vanko in the comics is known as the Crimson Dynamo. The Crimson Dynamo is basically like this Russian man in a bulky, giant, almost Hulkbuster Iron Man suit.
He's basically meant to be an allegory for the big, imposing threat of the Red Scare. He's big,
and fortunately, yes.
He's big, he's red, but he's utterly useless.
Yeah,
just
like,
put it that
for what
way.
I've seen of Dynamo, he's just there as big muscle. That's really it.
Believe it or not, Mickey Rourke actually visited an actual Russian gulag to research the role. He actually looked up what Russian prison life was like, and made himself look and act like actual Russian prisoners would. Which I'm thinking is like, okay, he suggested that half of the character's dialogue be Russian. He was the one who put forth that. He can't just be speaking English because he's not English. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
He also suggested the addition of the tattoos, the golden teeth, the fondness of the frickin' bird. That was all Mickey Rourke's idea
That
for
bird,
loving that
okay,
bird.
that whole thing was just stupid. I could get past the tattoos. I could get past the teeth, but the bird?
Believe it or not, he actually paid for implanting the golden teeth because those were real implants temporarily, by the way.
Really?
He paid for the cockatrice the cockatoo to come to the set out of his own pocket. That didn't come out of the film's budget.
Okay, I'll give him props for that, but still, what?
He was determined to make the character his own creation. Too bad it wasn't a great creation.
Yeah, what happened?
Let's see, paying for the tooth. Rourke explained that he did not want to play a one-dimensional bad guy. Too late.
Too bad.
He wanted to challenge the audience to see a redeemability in him. Not really. Like, I really didn't see. I just saw him as a guy who'd been over his entire life and just was lashing out at Tony Stark.
Yeah, pretty much messed around. I get
Yeah.
that, but also when you think about it, he's kind of like Hush, a Batman villain in a way.
Pretty much. Believe it or not, Mickey Rourke is one of the most least computer-savvy actors in the modern world. He had to pretend to know what the heck he was doing when he was making those drones. He had no idea what he was doing, and it kind of helped sell the fact that he was not building what Justin Hammer wanted. He was doing whatever the heck he wanted, and what he was doing, he had no idea what the heck he was doing.
My God.
Okay, so I will say he was a fine villain, like nothing too great.
I
He
mean,
was very
not the worst thing in
forgettable.
the world, but you know that with one small change, I feel like he could have been way better.
Like, I mean, if he put on the goddamn Crimson Dynamo suit, if we
Yeah,
just
that would
had
like
that,
if he just like ditched the whole Whiplash stuff and built up a Crimson Dynamo thing. Wait, then we would just get another Ironmonger.
Well, I mean, no.
If it was powered by an arc
Well,
reactor.
not really. It would be the same fight, but it would be him and Rhodey fighting him together, showing that Tony is more open to working with others.
That's true, yeah.
Showing more development on his character on that part. But as is, we have a pretty epic fight in the Central Park where the expo is taking place.
Oh, yeah.
Before Vanko suicide bombs himself. So it's like, yeah, he kind of died blowing himself up. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Who cares?
So I do like Mickey Rourke. I've seen him in a bunch of other things. I'm pretty sure the biggest thing I've seen him in, if I can remember correctly, was Sin City.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes, he was. He was in Sin City,
Which is another
I
comic book
loved
movie.
him in that movie.
Yeah,
so
because
damn
I've heard
much.
Sin City is a great movie, right?
Fantastic. I would definitely say so. It's probably it's probably one of the best things that Frank Miller ever did. You know, I mean, like, I may have almost no respect for him. I can respect that he made Sin City.
Yeah.
Like, I can give him that little bit of respect. So I will say Vanko / Whiplash / Mickey Rourke's fan fiction insert character was a fine villain, just like with Justin Hammer, but nothing too special.
Yeah, so middle thumb?
Middle thumb again. And of course, last but not least, on the main character roster, we have Samuel L. Jackson coming back as Nick Fury.
Well, he has been upgraded from post-credit scene to minor character, which is a good improvement.
He's their true donut analyzer. Let me think of this dude. Like, I will never forget the first time I saw Tony sitting in the donut hole. Nick Fury comes up, says the line is like, I'm sold. Whatever this dude is doing, I'm sold. Like, I previously loved Sam Jackson in his role in the Star Wars movies. And of course, me loving him in those, thought that I would also love him in this. And I was right.
Yeah,
But the fact of the matter is,
you
like,
can't go wrong with Samuel L. Jackson.
no, because even in the worst possible roles that I've seen him in, and I've seen at least a third of the many movies that he's made throughout his career. Even in the weakest of films, he still manages to make you feel engaged because you want to see what the heck he does. He does not care about the rules. Like, he will do whatever he has to do to make whatever he's doing the best, and I can always respect him for that.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson signed on for a 9-film deal to contract to play the character.
Whoa.
On the subject of his character not seeing any action in this movie, he said, "We still haven't moved Nick Fury into the badass zone yet. He's still just kind of a talker, but he'll be doing many more things in the future films."
Oh,
and
yeah, that's totally right.
And it was so true. Like, yeah, like he mostly just sits in the background and moves the plot forward. He's mostly there to explain and exposize about stuff that the audience or the rest of the characters doesn't know yet. I don't care. It's Sam Jackson. Oh,
yeah,
my
that's
God.
true.
Like, I would happily sit him. He can read the dictionary, and I'll give it a 9-star review.
I think
Like,
Sam
for
Jackson does audio work for Audible, and I feel like he does audiobooks, but I could be wrong.
Fantastic work. We see him in the diner. We see him helping Tony in the back half of the movie, and of course, he's there to help set up Thor in the post-credit scene of this movie.
Yep.
So yes, for like the first few films, he's mostly there just to be a plot device to move things forward. But he is very well placed and very well paced. A slow burn for the audience to enjoy many other things. So I'll definitely give him the thumbs up for his role in this movie overall.
Oh, yeah.
For the minor characters, we have Jon Favreau back as Happy Hogan, coming into his role very
does good.
very well, I must say. We got Clark Gregg coming back as Phil Coulson.
Oh, yeah.
We have John Slattery playing Tony's dad. Oh, that's
yeah.
pretty cool. We got Senator Stern. Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, Gary Shelding as the senator.
Yeah.
And I would have really liked to see him reprise his role in future movies if he hadn't unfortunately passed away in 2016.
Yeah, how did he die again?
Let me do a double check.
I feel like it was like cancer or something.
I know that it was a very tragic thing that when it was going on. He died at the age of 66, suffering from a paramedical condition. The autopsy showed that he died from pulmonary embolism, hyperparathyroidism.
Interesting.
Basically, it just says that he was suffering from a disease that I'm pretty sure that nobody could have picked up if they tried hard enough.
Yeah. Anyway,
we got Howard Stern. We got Howard who tries to get into the government. Favreau stated that Shelding's character was named after. So basically, he was created for the film based on Howard Stern. Paul Bettany is back as Jarvis, of course. Olivia Munn originally appeared as an unused character who was subsequently cut from the movie, which really does suck because I would have really liked to see her in this movie. We had the guy being the father. We got the process server. Okay, Stan Lee makes a cameo, but is mistaken for
Larry King. That was funny.
That was hilarious. Fantastic work. Bill O'Reilly is in this movie.
Surprisingly, also Tesla is no the guy who made Tesla. Elon Musk is in this movie.
Elon Musk is in the movie. So while Bill O'Reilly's cameo has definitely not aged well, let me tell you all that stuff that's happened with his lawsuits. Adam Goldstein appears as himself. But of course, he goes by DJ AM nowadays.
Of course.
We got further cameos include Tesla, Elon Musk, Larry Ellison for like all of his ventures, and believe it or not, the last big cameo before we talk about the awards the movie made, a retroactive thing. There is a little young lad who is in this movie wearing an Iron Man helmet. We can't tell you who this character is yet. Just put that in your brains for many movies down the line. Let's just say that kid is the future in many more ways than one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now that we're done with all the rosters, let's take a look at the achievements and accolades that this movie won.
Probably nothing.
Well, no, this movie won plenty of awards. It was also nominated for many things.
I'm guessing Kids' Choice Award?
This movie won a Visual Effects of the Year award at the Hollywood Film Awards. It was
that makes sense.
It was nominated for 2 Satellite Awards.
Okay.
It received many Teen Choice Award nominations.
Of course it did.
Including Robert Downey, Gwyneth Paltrow, Scarlett Johansson, Mickey Rourke, Don Cheadle. They were all chosen for specific things like choice villain, choice sci-fi actress, choice sci-fi actress, and all that.
All right.
it actually kept going on too. Like they also received many Scream awards. Scarlett Johansson won a Scream award for Best Sci-Fi Actress, which is so weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke and Robert Downey Jr. also won Scream awards for Best Villain and Best Superhero. So at the very least, they got some compensation for their roles. At the very least, believe it or not, Stan Lee was nominated for a Scream Awards Best Cameo Award. But that's actually pretty awesome. They. This film was nominated for 4 People's Choice Awards and actually won one of them for Favorite Action Movie of the Year.
I can sort of see that.
The film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, which is actually great. They at least got the nomination. I'll always be able to take that. The film was nominated for 4 Saturn Awards: Best Sci-Fi Action Film, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and all that.
Of course.
And of course, lastly, the film was nominated for 3 Visual Effects Society Awards, including Outstanding Visual Effects in a Visual Effects-Driven Feature Film, Outstanding Models, Outstanding Created Environments. The film was very much recognized for the integration of CGI, even though I really didn't care about it.
Yeah, I could see that. Me neither.
So, needless to say, this movie did a lot of great things about it with its technology, with its characters, and all that. Basically, the slow burn starts with showing Vanko as the main villain. It's fine. It shows that, okay, so there's much darker things going on behind the scenes that we're like fully aware of.
Right.
Tony wants to honor his father with opening up the expo. Shows that he still has a heart, even though he doesn't really use it very much.
Yeah, that's it.
Basically, he's a superstar. He's showing up trying to go to hearings at Congress, trying to get the designs away, which is always funny. The comedy in these movies is pretty spot on most of the time. Tony learns that he's dying from poisoning, but he doesn't tell anybody, like a dumbass.
Of course he is.
Basically, he gets more reckless and despondent of others, doing a lot of stupid things that ultimately could harm him and his friends.
There's a bit of alcoholism, which is very prevalent to Tony in the comics.
Very much in character. Tony's probably one of the most alcoholic-prone characters of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, probably the most.
Yep. Okay. So basically, he gives Pepper the role of the company of CEO. He hires Natasha as the secretary. We go to the race, which is fine.
The Monaco Grand Prix was a good scene, and honestly, the fact that Tesla, like I keep calling him that,
Elon
Musk showed up in the background. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, we see the fight scene between Tony and Whiplash at the track, getting him to stop. The weird yelling scene between Happy, Pepper, and Tony is funny. It's like, okay, this is happening. We gotta go right now. Oh my goodness. And of course, he gets under arrest. Justin breaks him out and does all the shenanigans over there. Tony is having what is seemingly his last birthday party, and he's making a complete fool of himself.
Go out with a bang, I guess.
I suppose. Then of course, him and Rhodey have the fight,
which is fun.
Which of course, was fun, to a T.
It's like how Rhodey just takes no crap, and he looks at everyone. He's like, "Get out!" And the face mask goes down. I'm like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, we have Nick Fury telling him about all the stuff that's going on with the Avengers, about how they're trying to push that stuff forward.
Oh yeah.
About how his dad founded Shield, was one of those dudes back in the day.
Right.
But of course, telling him why Vanko was so angry because his dad was kind of an asshole to him, and of course, maybe he's like not the great man that you idolized all those years ago.
Oh yeah.
And of course, Tony finds all the hidden messages in the dioramas, which is a very nice thing. Howard Stark is very much modeled in this movie after Walt Disney.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because the way he talked about the Stark Expo and everything, I'm thinking, I'm just looking at a Walt Disney right here.
The visionary of the future.
Oh yeah.
Basically, then of course we see all of the hidden blueprints and dialogues, including a Captain America shield. Of all things, he's building a shield.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's definitely building up for future things.
Yeah, it makes you think, what is, Coulson is there, and he looks like, what is this? That's the thing I'm working on.
Yeah,
it looks familiar.
Yeah, it's we know exactly what that is. We'll get to it at a future date. We learn that Vanko is still alive. He places the new arc reactor and goes to stop him at the World Expo. There's a big crisis situation where Tony and Rhodey work to stop all the drones and stop Vanko. Justin is arrested by Natasha as she goes to disable the drones.
Yeah.
And be really badass all the way there.
Oh, yeah.
Blowing up the suits, Vanko commits suicide. Rhodey and Tony are good and everything's fine. Fury informs Stark that things are going to be difficult for the future, but they hope that they'll still stay in contact. They are awarded by the same jackasses who called them crazy. Movie over. We see Thor's hammer in the ground. And of course, we go to the next film in the franchise whenever we get to that.
Yeah, so,
After all this, what the heck do we think of Iron Man 2?
Oh, God. Honestly, I'm going to say it right now. This is my Cliff Notes version of it.
Okay.
This is honestly the weakest movie in the MCU for me.
This is the weakest for you?
I
Like,
mean,
this is the
but
bottom?
to be fair, though, I don't think it's bad.
No,
In
it's
theory,
not bad.
I feel like this movie could have been really good, and possibly just as good as the first Iron Man film.
If they
It's
hadn't
just
rushed it.
Yeah, it's with all the crunch and possibly the weird characterization of Vanko, how Hammer was written, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it just leaves it as a disconjointed mess.
Very
Not
much
so much
so.
as Dawn of Justice, but in like a light of, say, something like I don't know, maybe Batman Forever or something like that.
No, I'm pretty sure. Like, I will be like having my different conflicting opinions about those movies.
Yeah,
for the
but I'll
future,
say
but-
this: like Iron Man 2, like I see there's a good movie in there, but it's not fully there.
No,
Now
it's
again,
not.
I don't think it's bad, but I would rarely go back to watching it, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
there's no harm in skipping the movie. Possibly, like, not a lot of stuff that happened in Iron Man 2 really paid off, if I'm being honest.
No, but like it's mostly just like the little things. If you like seeing Tony and Pepper and Rhodey and Nick Fury and all these guys together, if you want to see them do more things, watch this movie. It's just not a great movie.
Yeah, it's at best like okay. Mike, what about you?
I definitely say that this movie is frustrating to get through because I can see the potential that this movie had if the studios did not get hot feet and pushed all the pressure on these guys to make a movie as fast as possible. With a few more rewrites and reworks, editing of some scenes, and making them a bit more coherent with some more fluid ideas, this movie could have honestly been one of the better movies of the MCU. Definitely not one of the best, just better than it was in its current state.
Yeah, but like if it was like released the way it was intended to, and not crunched for time,
Exactly.
would you still find it better than the first Iron Man movie?
No, definitely
I
not.
didn't think so.
I will stand by and say that Iron Man 1 is one of the greatest superhero films ever made.
I can
And
attest to
I'll be
that.
saying is that the characters in this are fine as is. The jokes mostly land. The set pieces and CGI are nice, but the villains really fall flat and are just unimpressive and forgettable.
Yeah.
So basically, this is just the middle movie in the Iron Man trilogy. It's good but disappointing. That's exactly what I'll say.
Yeah. We might have something similar for that for Iron Man 3, but who knows?
I will give this film 2010's Iron Man 2, directed by Jon Favreau, starring Robert Downey Jr., a letter C ranking.
A C, really?
Yes,
All
I'll
right.
give this film a strong C.
Yeah, so in terms of numbers, it's low, and like I said, weakest movie in the MCU for me. But if you are a fan of Iron Man, I think you might find this movie okay. But there's some frustrations, and like how Mike said, it's frustrating to get through. There's some stuff that's just not right, and Tony being like closed mind off and not really telling his friends and people about his condition, that is a little disheartening and a little weird and not open-minded. So
Yeah.
not really that much change. But
Okay.
I'll be nice and give the movie maybe around like maybe a 6.5 out of 10.
Ooh, gotcha. So like for once, I like a movie better than you, which is a very strange thing because usually I'm the guy who says these movies are terrible.
Well, you're
You
more
give me-
critical, but I
Yeah,
know, like I can enjoy something and be critical, but when I don't enjoy something,
You have
I'm-
to be honest about it.
yes, and I'm honestly saying it's the weakest movie in the MCU. Now, if I'm asked to watch it, I won't say no, but
You won't enjoy it.
I won't do it on my own volition. That's the thing.
Gotcha. Okay, folks, thank you so much for listening to our review of Iron Man 2. Our next big superhero film, after we talk about more Batman the Animated Series in our next session, will be the third film of Fox's X-Men saga, which will be 2006's X-Men 3, The Last Stand.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Which will be a very interesting thing that we'll talk about in a future installment. Hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please share this podcast with all your friends and all your families. Watch these movies, form your own opinions, and be a better lover of media altogether.
Absolutely, but that's it for now. Until then, I'm Chris,
I'm Mike.
and this has been Behind the Screens. We hope everyone has a great night. Stay safe and take care.
Peace. Bye-bye.